And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi Showbie with me, Richard Vobes, and the lovely Julia Hartley. Hello, Julia.
Hello, Richard and everybody.
How are you, Julia? You're looking very two-dimensional this evening, if I may say so. Beautiful as ever, of course, but slightly...
Oh, thank you, darling. I've shed a few D's.
Oh,
dimensions.
Yes, of course. Just remaining with the two necessary ones.
Sorry, that sounded funnier in my head. I should have left it there.
No, it sounds absolutely fantastic. Now, lovely Julia, I'm just working out where you are on my desk. There we go. Hello to ladies and gentlemen out there in the Vobosphere. Sorry about that. We're a bit late because we had a slightly little cock-up, I think, more appropriately on my point, because I made the show private when we went live inadvertently, and it should have been, obviously, public. But anyway, we're here now, and loads of people are coming in. And we have the lovely Julia, who isn't actually in the studio, as much as you may think that she's wearing a Union Jack box skirt. She's actually sitting at home doing her social distancing. Isn't that right, Julia?
Yep, with a Concorde crash into my head and a red rum coming out the other side.
Fantastic. So let's see who's actually out there. Now, I wonder, Julia, I didn't ask you before when we did some tests. Can you see people in the comments?
I can.
Oh, good. Okay, well, let me say hello to a few people and then I'll let you say some of the comments. So at the moment, we have Andrew Murphy, Andrew Fearson, Andy Stacey, Audrey Forbes Hamilton, Barbara Childs, Barry Stevens, Chris Venerables, Dave Davis, David Hawkins, Ed Loud, Ernie, and the fastest milk cart in the West, Fiona Cooper, Joe Currid, Judith, the lovely Julia, of course, Kevin Smith, Kevin's Rambles, Laura Ridley, Leslie Cat. We're going to be on here forever. Lots and lots of exciting people. Mark Dolly McLeod, Mike Dixon, Miss K's Crazy Adventures, Peter May, Philip Hammond, River Reads Roblocks. Nice to meet you. I've not seen you before. Welcome along. Robert Croser, Stephen Gully. Hello to Stephen Gully. Tracy Murphy. Nice to see you. Wendy Lowry and Ware in Sussex. And dare say others are adding themselves to all the time. So welcome along. We're doing something slightly different because we've got the lovely Julia in, who is, as you can see, sitting next to me 3 miles away in her home. How is this possible? Are you still there, Julia? I can't.
I am. Sorry, were you talking to me?
Yes.
How is this possible?
Why not? When there's a pause.
Sorry, I'm so not used to being on the show anymore.
I know, you've forgotten how it works, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm like, yes, because we're using Zoom.
We are using Zoom. Somebody suggested that we were going to try Skype, but we're using Zoom at the moment. We seem to have got it working, kind of. So, firstly, can you hear both of us quite clearly? You should be able to. Can you hear the lovely Julia? And Julia, can you read any of the comments?
Yes, Ed Lau says ba 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 ba. But I don't get the tune right.
Yeah, well, he does that every time, which is great.
Yeah, he does. Ernie says, tally ho, Richard and Julia, I'm looking forward to your show.
Good. Well, we're looking forward to the show. Tonight's show, I should just let everybody know, is a special show because not only can you ring in, call the Vobes, but actually tonight you will have that chance, that unusual chance to talk to the lovely Julia. So tonight's show is called Call the Julia. Not the night nurse or the midwife or whatever it is. Call the lovely Julia tonight. And she's going to answer all your problems, whatever they might be. So that's really handy. Julia, if you look at your monitor where the things are, and I look that way, then it looks like we're looking at each other.
Hi.
Sort of. Andy Frierson says it's all fine. Ed can hear us. Leslie Couch can hear us. Thank you very much. Barry Stevens says that. Now, and Chris Venerables. Chris, we want to know, how are you doing? We relished your phone call yesterday. It was absolutely fantastic to hear you yesterday. But are you any worse? Are you any better? Or are you just the same? Wendy Lowry can hear us both perfectly. Well, some of you were privileged to our little test that we did a few hours ago, where it was chaos, but we, I hope, managed to sort out all the problems. So what's it like now being back on the show, Julia?
It's very strange, because I can't just go like this and knock your elbow.
No, well, that was my ear, actually.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. That was my ear. So this is great because it does potentially mean that we can have other guests on the show as we're in this terrible lockdown situation. Now, did anybody hear the Queen? Did you hear the Queen, lovely Julia?
I didn't. I was too busy trying to bet this face looking remotely human.
What was it looking before then?
Very not human.
Oh, right. Fair enough. Well,
I just
annoying.
watched me punch you on the other screen. Sorry.
Oh, you've just seen that in the playback. Annoyingly, the Queen didn't start her message, "My husband and I."
Oh, strange that.
No, she didn't do that anymore. She just said, "I am talking to you from Windsor." She was very elegant, I have to say. It was very nice to listen to the Queen telling everybody to stay indoors and don't dare go out and do your bit, because we are facing that. Did anybody else out there listen to the Queen? Be interested to know what you thought of the Queen's message. Was she saying uplifting things? Was it all good? Or are you slightly in criticism of where we're going with all of this? Nature's Beauty says you wouldn't have all that if you used StreamYards. You just invite by copying and pasting a link to Julia, and Julia just clicks it and follows the instructions and would be on the panel with you. Yes.
Well, where were you last night when on the show when it was mentioned?
The only thing about that is the difference here, just to explain so that people understand, we have one machine which you can't see, which is just off camera, which is operating everything, a computer, but it's also encoding the show. That's quite a hefty process. It's encoding the show and spitting it out to YouTube, and then YouTube spits it out to you. Now, the program wasn't really designed to be used. The computer wasn't really designed to be used for real massive heavy thing. It's actually only a security computer to operate a webcam. So the fact that it does anything is good. So we didn't want to get the computer to process extra work by having Julia live all the time, which is why she's on a laptop. So although I know if you were doing this at home with friends, you could do all that. But we have the additional thing of taking my signal, Julia's signal, and then putting them out further. So you do need a slightly heftier machine and the equipment to do it. So I appreciate what you're saying, Nature's Beauty, but it is a little bit different than that. And the studio really wasn't designed to do that. But, we'll have an upgrade at some point. Love the EndNote, we'll meet again. Is that what the Queen was saying? Oh yes, we'll meet again. Yes, I thought she was going to break into who is it? Vera Lynn's thing. We'll meet again. Don't know where. Probably in the one of the wards, the Nightingale ward or something, is where they'll meet again. Anyway, we have a phone call, so let's find out who's on the phones. Hello to you, mystery caller.
Although I know if you were doing this at home.
Mr. Caller, could you turn the volume of your what you're watching down, the stream down? Oh, and they've gone. So there we are. That was the first mystery caller. If you are calling in, just the same as when you do on a radio station. If you've ever phoned in a radio station, you turn down the volume of the stream so that we don't hear that as well as yourself. That would be great. Any more interesting comments, lovely Julia?
That's a big cat. She's not actually. She's quite small. It's just big screen.
Oh, did one of your cats come thundering by?
The fluffy one, Sapphire.
Oh, sorry, I missed that because it didn't continue into my world.
No, I know. I'm sorry about that.
We have 91 people watching. Thank you very much for coming back to watch the Vobes show. It's very great fan. Chris Venerable says, I'm a Republican, I'm afraid not a publican. Oh, fair enough. We won't be nipping round them for 5 pints this evening. Mark Donny McLeod says, one has buggered off to the countryside to keep away from that nasty bug and your smelly peasants. We have another call coming in. Let's find out. Oh, there's little Joe. Hello, Joe. Yes, your chance to ring and talk to the lovely Julia. Hello, who's there?
This is Nigel. Hello, Richard.
Hello, Nigel. How are you?
I'm all right.
Fantastic. You're through to the lovely Julia.
I know. I can see her there in all her glorious purpleness.
Hello, Nigel.
Hey, with a bit of a concord sticking out of your ear.
Yeah.
Red rum on the other side. Oh, And now we have a baby coming in the shop. As I
This
watch
delay
it.
is weird.
How's it going with you, Nigel?
Good, thank you very much. We walked up to Dipper Ridge.
Oh, did you?
All the way from the house that's coming up from the north side of the face of Dipper Ridge. Just walked around the outside of the church, which is having lots of building works done.
But you know you're supposed to stay inside. All the exercising is now going to be cancelled by by whoever the bloke's name, Mr. Hancock, Tony.
I know. Don't tell Kevin; he'll be cross.
Don't you know you can't do that? You can't do that anymore. I'm going to close everyone up in there. I'm going to lock them all up, you know, Sid. Sid, I'll tell you, they're not going to get out of their houses when I've dealt with them. I'm the health secretary after all.
We went up the Wealdon Ways. We saw a few people going, but there was nobody in sight on the return journey. It was very pleasant. I mean, I'm sunburnt.
Are you? Yes, I've been getting sunburnt. I mean, I sat outside on my step because my front door is south-facing, fortunately. The garden is only about 4 foot long, but I managed to get a little bit of sun on my bonds. So that's, you know, you feel like that I'd be, you know, if you put me up in court, they say, just a minute, Vobes, you've been out and about because you've got a lot of sun on. Mind you, they got video evidence as well, I suppose. Doesn't help.
Somewhat.
So have you got any questions for the lovely Julia, Nigel?
No, I can't think of anything immediately for the lovely
The
Julia.
show tonight is Call the Lovely Julia, and Nigel Sadler has rung up to call the lovely Julia, but has nothing to call her.
I did query that. What was anyone want to ask me for? What do I know?
Have you got anything extra growing in your garden yet?
Mm-mm.
That's a sore point.
Sadly not. Yep, sore point.
Right. Well, I've dug over mine now. I'm going to ponder what to put in it.
Oh, well done.
What sort of things do you fancy put? I mean, long term or short term?
Oh, this is to eat.
Yes. Oh, right.
Short term. So, you know, lettuces. I wish I could try cucumbers. Sometimes I'm lucky.
Everyone does the same old thing, don't it? It gets so boring. Lettuces, cucumbers, carrots. Nobody does pineapples, bananas, para fruit or whatever it's called.
No.
Para. What's that one in the they do in the jungle? Julia will know this. Pora, is it?
Oh,
Paw.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah.
The one with the prickly paw or whatever it is.
That's right.
Then go back to the Jungle Book.
with the prickly paw.
The prickly
That's right.
paw.
Disney's Jungle Book.
Absolutely. Mystic Hair says making plans for Nigel.
I saw that.
What does that mean?
XTC's famous record, making plans for Nigel.
Oh, is it? Oh, there we are. See that? I'm afraid that went over my head.
Julie... 1977, 78, I think.
Oh, yes. Well, you would know.
Yes, I've got the record.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that the one that goes making plans for Nigel?
That's right. He's got a job at British Steel.
He's got a job at British. Is that the lyrics?
Something wrong. Yes, that's the lyrics. Yes.
Ah, right. Fair enough. Well, that's very good. Well, I don't know. Maybe people can give you suggestions to what you could grow. I mean, it seems that the suggestions that I've given you've turned your nose up. Passion fruit. What's wrong with a nice passion fruit or a pomegranate?
They're rather good. They're rather good.
I mean, we've got the sunshine now.
We have indeed.
And apparently this week coming, it's going to get even hotter.
Indeed. Quite tropical.
Yes, and we're all going to be walled up, and the military are coming round with nails and planks to make sure we don't get out. What do you think? Do you think that they can or will stop us doing the exercising, or would there be an uproar?
There would be an uproar. They could do. I don't think they will. It's not quite British enough to get.
I mean, I did think, if they put the military out on the streets as if to say, right, we're going to ensure we're putting the army on the streets. The army would have to have guns, otherwise they're not the army. And then are you seriously telling me they would actually use those guns? And if they use those guns and they shot somebody, are they not causing death? Is that not what we're trying to do, save lives?
Well, if we go back to our favourite subject of the 1970s Survivors TV series.
Oh, yes.
We discussed some weeks ago. I suppose in the scheme of things, we're sort of somewhere about the end of episode 1, beginning of episode 2.
Yeah, it was in a long-running series, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
What a load of old. So we've got how many episodes? Was there like something like 24 or something? And season.
I have no idea what the end was.
What
but,
happened
by
to them?
then I can't remember actually.
No, I can't remember. I think I got bored towards the end of it because in the end, they were all having these little hill forts and things, and it was a bit Neolithic.
That's exactly the following stages, which we all hope we will not actually get that
People
far.
will have their shotguns and their supermarket trolleys full of stuff and have their little forts.
That's exactly what none of us want. And
No.
what the governments around the world are trying very hard to stop from getting into that position.
And the government, I think the government's in a tricky position because ultimately it does want to get voted back in 5 years' time.
Yes, now they have an opposition or an opposition.
Yes,
leader.
they've got a slightly more sensible opposition than they did have, and Keir Starmer is able now, if he's got the nonce, to be able to challenge the government on things because it could easily swing if we're all locked down and they lose the common good of the people and the common will, that people start to say, look, we went to the park, we were 10 foot from anyone else. Tell me how that is infecting anybody else. Where's the evidence that has infected anybody? Just saying, well, stay inside. But ultimately, people will rebel that.
It's testing the powers of command and control, I think.
Yes. Somebody I heard on the news had a very interesting comment. They said, instead of beating people with a stick, which people don't like, so stay indoors, you must do as we tell you, and the British people don't like that, it's the nudge thing, that if you'll be much more patriotic if you're staying, help us rather than you must. This is an instruction, this is an order, because we don't take orders very well.
No.
How do you think, Julia?
I've been paying attention to the comments.
What are the comments saying?
We've got questions for me there. We've got someone saying, keep it light, Richard.
Keeping it light? Who says that?
Mystic Hair.
Mystic Hair? Just
I've
to
had
remind
time
you,
someone out.
it is my show.
I've had to time someone out for being spam.
Okay.
And we've got some chatting between everyone.
Fantastic. That's marvellous. All right. Well, that's all good. Thank you, Nigel.
One question from me to Nigel, though.
Oh, yes.
How's Maisie doing?
Maisie is great, and she thoroughly enjoyed her walk. For a little dog,
brilliant.
She's good. She's got a little companion which she can't see. My mother-in-law bought another same model dog.
Oh, same model dog.
Smaller and even cuter and different colouring.
She got the upgrade, has she?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's funny, you buy a dog and then 6 months later they've got a cuter one, much more obedient one, and with all the mod cons on it.
Yes. And that one's called Daisy.
Oh, Daisy and Maisie. Oh, my God.
Bless.
Yes, it gets very confusing.
Yes. Let's hope there's no more, because there'll be Crazy, Phasey, Sazy, Nazy. And
How big is she now, though?
Maisie,
Yeah.
I think is big as she's going to get because she's 10 months old. Yes.
So she's up to your waist now, I imagine.
Oh yes. No. about twice the size as when you last saw her.
Fantastic. Oh, right. So about the size of a piglet.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely.
Little Daisy is still tiny.
Wonderful. Well, lovely. Thank you for calling in, being our first caller, Nigel.
Thank you. Many videos to go tonight?
Yes, we do have some, and I'm going to go straight to the first video of the evening very shortly.
Right. Go then.
Yes.
Bye.
Take care. Thank you for calling. Bye-bye.
Bye, Nigel.
Bye, Julia.
There we go. The lovely Nigel Sadler in Tunbridge. Calling in. Tunbridge is in Kent, for those of you who are overseas and have no idea. And if you don't know where Kent is, it's somewhere in England. Thank you for the geographical thing. Now, lovely Julia, we're going on to the special Vobes video vault to see what videos have come in. Now, I should just say, we've had a lovely video from Elaine Brazier. We've had one from Robert Croser, and there is one from Naomi Corrin, I think her name is. And they're not making tonight's playlist. I'm so sorry. They we had to get them in order that they were sent, and they're going in tomorrow's show. So just forward warning, if you were waiting for those, it ain't happening. Not tonight, because unfortunately the Queen has forced us, to shorten the programme a bit. My husband and I have been watching the Vobes for many years. Oh, hang on. We got a private number coming in. I tend not to answer private numbers, but we'll see who this is. Hello, caller. Who are you?
Hello. I've just say hello, Richard. I want to say videos. I learned a lot from them.
Hang on. Bear with me. I need to put the headphones on because I can't quite hear you. Say again.
Hello, Richard. I just wanted to say these videos. I learned a lot from them, and I can't wait to travel to Worthing. And I've got a fact for you that I want you to use in your next video.
You've got a
fact for you, a fun fact.
Oh, a fun fact. Oh, right. Yes, sorry. Okay, because the line is a bit wibbly wobbly.
Okay. Adler.
I don't know what phone system you're on, but it keeps cutting out, unfortunately, and the lovely Julia can't hear you at all when I have to put the headphones on. Are you still there? No, gone. Sorry about that. So there we are. If you've got a dodgy phone, it's not going to work terribly well. Just so you know, tonight's show is a bit of a strange lash-up because we have got this weird system with the laptop here. The only way that Julia can actually hear the phone calls is through my headphones connected to this microphone. This microphone, she can hear me, and then anybody ringing in comes through these headphones. I know it's not the best system in the world, but we're not the BBC, basically. So, hello?
Hello?
Oh, you're still there. That's lucky.
I'm still here. Someone was asking, have I been on Concorde? I think it was Ian Beddoes. No, sadly, I never got to go on Concorde.
Never been on Concorde?
No, I never got to go. But my grandmother did. My paternal grandmother did. And these are her pictures she had up in her house.
So you've got Concorde and Red Rum. Is that Red Rum?
Yeah. Oh, rummy.
Did Red Rum run in the Grand National?
A few times, yeah.
A few times, yeah. And he won, didn't he?
Yeah, a few more times.
More times.
No,
There's Red Rum coming up, and they're followed by and it's Red Rum coming to the end. It's anyone's guess. It's followed by, I think it's me. It's followed by somebody else, and there it is coming up on the last corner, and there is Red Rum coming.
Sorry, did he win?
No, he came last. He fell over at the last furlong. It's a shame, isn't it? It can happen to anybody.
Well, he is actually laying down there somewhere.
Is he? He's laying down by one of the whatchamacallits.
I think it's the finish line in Aintree, I believe.
Yes. Right. Okay. Let's go to one of our videos now, ladies and gentlemen, and see what it is. We're going to go straight into Stephen Agger, who has sent in a video. Thank you, Stephen. This is first time video from Stephen, and he is at Chantonbury Ring.
Hi, Richard. Richard Vobes is out there. My name's Stephen Agger, and I'm on Chantonbury Ring. Got the beach stay behind me. And in front of me, the Weald. I'm perched in the beach tree that got blown down the 87 Hurricane. And over there you've got Stunning. And South Downs going eastwards towards right in Eastbourne. Back in the studio.
Glastonbury videos.
Oh!
We went to Glastonbury last year, and I googled Glastonbury, and you guys were the ones that came up, and they were really great help.
Oh, that's really kind. Hang on, just bear with me 1 second. Hang on, the video's finished now, so you're actually now live on air, and I'm just fiddling to make sure that we could hear you. So, can you tell me what your name is?
Oh, Lisa.
Hello, Lisa. Nice to.
Lisa.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Leeds.
From Leeds. Oh, Leeds is very nice. I've been to Leeds a few times. You've got the lovely Julia here. She's very much into Glastonbury.
Yeah.
When I googled the videos, yours came up, And it was really lovely, the camaraderie between you both. And
Ah.
all of your videos were a great help.
Oh, fantastic!
Thanks.
Oh,
Glad we could be helpful.
So, what did you what did you take away from the videos?
We went to the tour, and we went to the Abbey, the High Street, and also Wells.
And to Wells.
I'd not actually. I didn't know about Wells until I saw your video, and then my husband was like, "Can we go to Wells?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I've just watched a video about it." So yeah, it was really good.
Oh, awesome! It's lovely, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, I'm very nervous because I know my kids are watching downstairs.
Are they? What's their names? What's their names?
Kim and Faye.
Kim and
Faye.
And Fear.
Faye. F-A-Y.
Oh, Faye. Sorry, I beg your pardon.
Sorry, we're Southern.
I can't hear you very well because I've had to put my headphones on the table so Julia can hear you, and I'm sort of hearing it sort of secondary, if you see what I mean.
Anyway, hello, Tim and Faye.
Yeah, no
hello,
worries.
Tim and Faye. How are you doing?
They'll be picking on me when I go back downstairs.
Ah, bless.
Anyway,
but that's...
I just thought, I've been wanting to call in all week to tell you that, but since you're both together, I thought it'd be nice to tell you both.
Oh, it's so annoying that we can't actually be both in the studio and do the show properly because, you know, this is the best lash up that we've managed to do in the circumstances, and hopefully we can improve on it. But thank you so much. That's so nice that our video, you know, it's really nice because we make the videos because we love doing it, but that people get something from it and it's useful is so nice to hear, isn't it, Julia?
Yeah, I'm a bit overwhelmed. Thank you so much for calling in.
No, you're welcome. Well, I enjoyed the videos so much that I continued watching long after my Glastonbury trip. That was last August. So on with the show.
On with the show, yeah. No, well, thank you so much, Lisa. It's lovely to talk to you, and thank you for calling.
Take care and stay safe,
Bye.
Lisa.
Thank you, Julia. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, how brilliant is that, Julia?
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Because we just make the videos and we have a bit of a laugh with them and stick them up and hope people like it, and people do say nice comments, but actually hearing from people in a phone call, that's so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cue to speak, Julia.
Sorry, I just suddenly realised I hadn't adminned the chat for a while. So
sorry,
yes.
Check.
Check.
It's very difficult because, again, let me just explain for those people who don't know, and we've got people obviously joining all the time now, and the channel's growing and it's getting busy, which is lovely. Is Julia also is in the chat room as we do this adminning, and you'll see that she's got a wrench, a blue wrench next to her, or a spanner, as some people call it.
Don't want to be your monkey wrench. Sorry.
So, excuse me. So it's very tricky for Julia because she's obviously trying to also be a moderator at the same time in case we have a bit of trouble. We don't get much trouble though, do we, as a rule, Julia?
No. Generally, we only seem to attract really lovely people.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're lucky like that.
Beach Writer 8 says, I made it, caught you live, love the show. Deborah from Florida, USA, you're very much appreciated. Love the bike videos. I'm on daily allowed walks too. Thank you.
So glad you finally made it. I've seen you comment on Richard's videos on the Bold Explorer channel. So yes. I'm so pleased you made it. Yay!
And it's so nice when you see those names and then they pop up over here when we're doing the live. It's so nice because I think half of this, and I didn't realise this when I got going with YouTube, that a lot of it is that community. You make a video and you think you shove it up and you hope people like it, but you then start to be able to talk to people, and the tools that YouTube have given us to be able to do that is just fantastic, and it's so nice. And Beach Writer just says there, I've just watched the Queen's speech.
Lucky, I didn't manage to. I was too busy.
Well, I thought I'd better listen just in case there was anything in it that people might start talking about.
I had every intention of listening.
Yeah, no, well, it's always nice to listen to the Queen. This is the fourth time that she has spoken to the Commonwealth, if we still call it that, and in times of crisis. So That's all very good. Where in Sussex says, I know you use the Behringer for the show, but if you've got a mixer kicking out with all that... But if you've got a mixer kicking about with an auxiliary output, you could use that instead and create a clean feed to send to Julia for the calls. Yes, I may have to get my Allen and Heath desk out, but it takes over this desk. But I may do that. I may swap that over. That could be good. Mike Dixon's telling me that there's over 100 people watching. Thank you so much for coming in. It's so great of you to do that. Lara says, love the horse behind the painting. If you've come for the first time, we don't normally have the laptop affair. This is a bit of a test tonight. So if things don't go as smoothly as we normally do it, then please forgive us. But it's so lovely to have a co-host on the show.
So nice to be back.
Albeit virtual. You know, it's a bit Heath Robinson, but we like that, don't we?
Yeah, it's a bit, like you said.
Yeah, Heath Robinson. She's going...
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, she
okay.
says, what's Heath
Nodding,
Robinson?
nodding.
I know. Mike Dixon says, Wells Cathedral is one of the finest churches in England. It is. It was so beautiful when we went there. We did our video in a whistle stop. We found a car park. Don't you remember? We found a car park that was only 20 minutes. We managed to duck in there. And I said to Julia, come on, we're going to walk fast and walk round and look like we know what we're doing and then get straight back to the car before we get a ticket on it. And we managed it, didn't we?
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading comments again.
I don't know. Right. I tell you what we'll do.
Quick one.
Yes.
Barry Stevens says he went to Selborne today. It was beautiful. You'll love it. If that's the Selborne in Hampshire, we've done videos on that. And I did a video particularly on the Selborne U.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
We have another call coming in. We have another call. Let's find out who's on the line. Hello.
Hello, Richard.
Hello, who's that?
It's Peter May.
Hello, Peter. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Hello, Julie.
Say hello, Julia.
Hello.
Can you hear Peter?
Sorry, you said Julie, and I was like, it didn't quite
Sorry.
register on my brain.
I know. Sorry, it's everything. It's the delay and everything like that.
It is all a bit. It is very strange when you watch the screen. Of course, we're not. It looks like we're not talking live, and of course, there is this delay of about 30, 40 seconds from when we actually speak, which is very confusing. So
I know it's throwing me off big time.
Don't look at the screen. Is basically the thing.
I'll look at the wall, Richard. I'll look at the wall.
Yeah. There's one of us is less ugly when you do that.
Oh no, you're both gorgeous.
No. So you don't live a million miles away from where I am.
I'm literally over the bridge from you, Richard.
Are you? Well, when this is all over, we must have a cup of coffee. I think we've mentioned this before, but we really must.
I'm gagging to do some videos or something. Once we're out of lockdown, Richard, I'm going to be walking around with you.
Fantastic. That sounds great. Well, because you only over the road, you'll have to come into the studio.
Exactly. Well, I walk past yours most days.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I know where you live, Richard.
I know. The trouble is...
egg and toilet roll his house. That's amazing. Well done.
No, don't toilet roll my house.
If I run out, I know where to go.
Yeah. The thing is, what was I going to say? I was going to say something then that was of universal excitement, but it's flipped out of my mind. Am I right in thinking you're a care worker or something?
I've worked for the NHS for about 7 years, but I'm now a support worker for adults with learning disabilities.
Right. So, where are you in the big picture at the moment?
Well, let's just say I'm used to going out all the time, and now we're just in lockdown, basically.
So you're in lockdown as well. That you haven't been repurposed or utilised in some way.
No, not at all. I mean, we're very special in the fact that we normally go out and we go and see rescue places and swimming and things like that. But now we're just indoors, looking after the guys, making sure everything's fine.
Right. So do you live on your own, don't you?
Yes.
And then you can go to the unit wherever that is.
Literally, I work about 20 seconds away from my house.
Oh, right. Oh, that's quite handy then.
Yes, I still get to work late though, Richard, I must say.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Let me ask the audience watching, those people, you know what it's like when there's something round the corner that you know that you might work. If your work is up in London, for example, and you live, I don't know, 60 miles away, you get on a train, you make sure there's no delays, you get to work, and you arrive half an hour before you need to. And when you work somewhere that's just, as Peter just said, is 20 seconds away, I guess you're one of those people that go, well, I don't need to get out of bed until 10 minutes before I need to be in the job.
Exactly. And then you rush around,
And-
cleaning your teeth, you run out the door, and then
You're still
bang,
late.
5-10 minutes late. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, that gets everybody else's backs up who's been up for 2 hours commuting.
Yes, exactly. We've got people coming from Brighton and all the rest of it, and there's me just literally, I can see my workplace from my bedroom window, and I'm the one that gets in late. So
if you oversleep, for example, does anybody not come round your house and knock on the door or throw stones at your window and say, "Peter, come on, get up"?
I've had it twice, Richard.
Have you?
Yes, I've had the bang, bang, bang at the door. Where the hell are you?
Oh, how embarrassing is that?
But it's
I know
lovely.
what that's like.
We're like a little family. It's absolutely great where I work.
Oh, fantastic. Now, the other thing I've noticed, Peter, is on a couple of occasions you've made pleas out there for members of the opposite sex, shall we say, who
The older lady.
What is it about the older lady, then?
I like a lady that knows, has knowledge and respect, you see. Not the young uns. I like a lady with experience.
And where would we be pitching you in the age group?
Oh, God, Richard, I'm open to everything.
No. But what I'm trying to say in a more subtle way that obviously didn't come across at all well was, how old are you?
Oh, 34.
34. So you're a young un then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Blimey. 34. You're not much. Julia's not much older than you, are you, Julia? Shh. Sorry. I didn't ask your age. But
No.
Julia's
Never
only like
ask-
a couple of months older, if I remember
Never
rightly.
ask a lady her age, Richard. You should know that by now.
Yes, I should. That's why I'm still single, you see.
Let's just say
Oh,
I'm
no.
heading on for the big 4-0.
You're not heading on for the big fours.
Yeah, I'm not that far off.
You've got at least
Too close
another
for comfort.
6 years to go, haven't you?
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Has the young lady been watching Labyrinth during lockdown, by the way?
I haven't actually. I have not had time, but I would love to watch it again and again and again and again.
Is
I've
that
just got
is
it
that
on
the one
Blu-ray.
with David Bowie doing the balls?
Yeah, with his cod piece on. Yep.
I'm not going to repeat that.
I only ever saw a bit of it when my children used to watch. I hadn't really seen the whole thing, but my favourite, well, the only bit I really saw, which is my favourite bit, was the bit with the worm in the wall.
Oh, with the red hair on it. Yes, where it goes, don't go that way, go this way. If you went that way, you'd go straight to the castle.
You
Why
know,
don't you come inside, meet the missus, have a cup of tea?
Yeah, that's the one.
you guys obviously know it very well, indeed.
No.
Dear, oh dear.
I did talk to the lady about this a few months ago, and I know she's a big fan.
Ah, superb. So have you got a special question for the lovely Julia?
Actually, I've noticed her child has grown up very quickly.
They do that, don't they, Julia?
They have a habit of it as well. It's quite annoying. I'd quite like this tiny
It's
little
surreal.
£4.6 thing again, but no, it's good that he's growing.
When you held him up, I couldn't believe how big he looked.
I know. I can't believe it myself. It
7
seems like
stone
yesterday.
now, though, isn't he? 7 stone? 7 or 8? Something like that. And a question for Julia, actually, whilst you're talking about babies. Just wondering, is it difficult to get nappies and baby food at this time?
Thankfully not.
Right. So,
Thankfully, Amazon and eBay put a stop to all the reselling of all of those things. So that's, yeah,
Why? People have been
Thankfully.
making extra money off it.
they were extortionate money. Well, trying to anyway.
That's disgusting.
It is absolutely horrifying, and baby formula and all of that.
so yeah, no, that's. So, what do you do then on the social? Because you're working with your unit and stuff. And then what do you do for your own life? Do you get away and escape to somewhere? You go to the cinema, the theatre, or sunbathe on the nudist beach, or what do you do, Peter?
Oh, I'm always down the nudist beach, Richard. Um,
I'll look out for you next time.
I always see you down there.
Yeah, I'm often down there mooning about.
No, I mean everything's on lockdown, so I can't go to the
No, I
cinema.
meant normally. I mean, obviously, we've only been in lockdown for a couple of weeks, but before this crisis took over our lives, were you a socialite?
Uh, Half and half. I mean, I used to always go to the cinema. I used to always go out and perform. I've got band.
Have you?
Yeah.
Tell me
So
tell us about the band.
the band basically we do what's called new retro wave, which is a sort of old 80s music.
Oh, okay, Julia, you know music. What is new retro wave?
Retro wave.
I've got no idea.
So
You need to check it out.
So what do you do?
I
You take
do.
what? Do you take 80s music and then soup it up to modern beat or something?
Yes, exactly.
Ah, oh, okay. And you
That
do,
sounds cool.
so do you take do you cover versions a bit like do you remember that thing Hooked on Classic, where it was classical music and somebody came up with the idea if we just put a engaging beat with a Linn drum machine underneath it, so you could have things like da 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 dun da 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 dun da 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 dun da 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 dun with underneath.
Yes.
Is that what you do? You sort of
Yes.
yes.
But it's not so much covers. It's more sort of copying certain genres of 80s music and then adding on an extra beats and synthesizing,
Right.
that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, I've been drumming for 26 years now.
Gosh, 26 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Blimey.
So it's been nice the last 2
started young.
years of.
So
Sorry,
would you
June?
do something like in the style of OMD or something like that?
Oh no, Richard, not OMG. Oh my lord, no.
Who's the other one? Who did the one? Don't you want me, baby? Human League.
Don't you want me? Oh.
Oh,
Would you do something? Would you do in the vein of them
It's sort of along those lines, yes.
and ABBA and things like that?
ABBA, really, Richard, ABBA.
Well, you said 80s. You see, you did say 80s, didn't you?
No, ABBA is 70s.
Well, yes, all right, fair enough. That's it. Well, anyway, thank you very much. It's nice to talk to you. Peter may or may not be back on the show very soon. No, but it's lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for ringing with your.
No, I just want to say thank you for doing everything you're doing for everyone, Richard. Obviously, because of the lockdown, everyone's a bit confused and scared. And
well, when they
you've
watch
been
my
there.
videos, that's what happened to them. They get confused and they get very scared. They think,
Exactly.
is he going to walk past my house and catch me at the window?
You'll see me one day, Richard.
We will meet up and have a cup of coffee and we'll do some walks and I'll get you in the studio. And we'll get you to play something in your band, or at least your drum. Oh, you won't be able to bring your whole... Maybe you could bring in a single drum to bash.
It's an electric drum kit, so it
Oh.
folds up. Yeah, I can.
Okay, well, that's all right, because we can do lash-ups. You should see... I mean, you can't see the whole thing in here, and I can't put the webcam on because the webcam is actually my feed back to Julie. Otherwise, she can't... Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's too complicated for me to even get my head round. But
I've
Peter...
got a question for Peter.
Oh, question for Peter.
Yeah, go on.
Do you have other drum sets like bongos or bodhran, or what's that box drum
I've got
called that you can sit on?
the African drum kit.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I've got 16 drums in the loft.
Hey, wait, listen to this. Listen to this. Tell me what this is. Hang on. I've not done this for years. Hang on. Oh, I can't do it now.
Richard, I need to teach you how to drum.
Yes, I think that... Well, you could teach me on the show. That would be brilliant. Wonderful, Peter. Thank you so much for calling.
Excellent.
Take
Get on
care.
with the show, Richard.
And we'll
Good luck.
talk to you soon.
Okay then, mate. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Take care,
Cheers,
Peter.
bye-bye.
Bye. Stay safe.
Bye-bye. Good to
Bye-bye.
you too.
Lovely Peter May only lives round the corner, so you've got to be very careful with people who live round the corner because they could come round knowing where you know and stick all sorts of things through your door or bricks through your glass. You've got to be careful. So always nice to those sort of strange, weird people who think the ABBA was in one era. And anyway, no, lovely Peter. Thank you very much. It's so kind. Wasn't that nice, Julia?
That was lovely. It was really nice
That was
to
lovely.
hear
That
his
was lovely.
voice.
Comments. We better go and look at the comments because people are scribbling like mad on the bit of paper on the side there. But what are they actually penning, Julia?
Trying to latch onto something that that won't sound absolutely out of place at this point. Well, we've got Robert Croser shouting Elaine Brazier.
Why does he do that?
I think for him it's the new I'm Spartacus.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. What are we? Steely Chase says, I've seen this already. What is she talking about? Julius should release a record, says Mike Dixon.
No one would buy it.
Well, I would. Francis Bellringer says he plays the piano and he plays bells.
Ooh.
We have another call. It looks like we might not get to many videos tonight. Let's find out who's on the line. Hello to you, mystery caller. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, who's that?
It's Steve.
Hello, Steve Pilfold, over in Pevensey. Hello, Steve. How you doing?
Not bad, you?
Yes, not too bad. Now you're through to the lovely Julia.
Good evening, Julia.
Good evening, Steve. Lovely to see you. How's Cara?
She's next to me. She's good.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you then.
She's what?
She forced me to ring in.
Hello, Cara.
There she is.
Hi.
There she is. It was a big. You live in the castle that you live down there in Pevensey. It's got very large rooms. The sound takes quite a while to travel, doesn't it, Steve?
Yes, she was in the East Wing. That's the problem.
Oh, that's the. And you had to send the footman off to get her and carry the reply back.
Yeah, it's difficult having the butler these days because of the self-isolating and all that kind of thing.
Oh, yes, I suppose. What do you do? He's always in one room separate from you, I guess.
Yes, indeed. I was ringing in because I just want to say well done for getting Julia set up like that. It looks really good. Does
it look? I mean, you know how radio works because you do your show and stuff. You know how sometimes plumbing in the desk and trying to get your head round a send and an in and an out and a feed here and a feed there, it can blow your mind a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably about 12, 13 years ago. I did a radio broadcast using Skype back to the studio from a pub in Lewis, and everyone thought I was mad using the internet to send something back to the radio station.
Yes.
And, of course, now people are using that method to get reports on BBC TV News. So,
well, I mean, if you think the BBC now are reliant on Skype and Zoom and these and WhatsApp and stuff to communicate because they've all got to be in separate places.
Well, that's it. And on your test broadcast earlier, I said about have I got news for you? And they had Hislop Merton and the two guests and the chair all sitting in their respective houses. And the whole thing was done on a virtual set.
Oh, really? Oh, yes, of course. We should have done that. If we'd thought about it, Julia, we could have had a virtual set and just airbrushed us in.
That would have been fun.
You just need somebody to do the CGI and you'd be sorted.
Absolutely.
I could have come in riding a unicorn.
At one point in the test, which didn't go out because we didn't stream this bit, the lovely Julia, if you can just see behind her on the screen, she's got a green coat. And we did manage to put in... What did we put in the background of that? You used it as a green screen and you were trying to put...
Yeah, actually, it was a picture of the Glastonbury tour.
Oh, was it?
But you want to try it?
Oh, excellent.
We're going to try it.
Hang on, she's going to do it live, ladies and gentlemen. The Glastonbury tour on her green coat is going to suddenly... Technical... There it is!
That. Woo! That was a bit of a...
Do you know what, Richard?
Yeah?
What?
It sounds really impressive, but because I'm on my phone, I can't see it.
Because you know what? You'll have to watch the playback.
Watch the playback.
And watch the repeat.
Yeah, the repeat. That's right. And of course, you don't have to pay a license fee to get the repeat.
No.
Which is a bonus.
No. Anyway, I'm gonna say good night to you now because I've got to get this one to bed.
Yes, of course.
And I'm sure that you've got films and videos that you need to play in, and we're all ringing in and making you overrun again.
Oh, that's all right. We don't mind. The show is loose, so if we don't get to the videos today, we're in lockdown for so bloody long.
One thing I did want to say
yes.
is that I dug up a couple of old rose bushes in the garden today, and I'm going to be sowing some purple carrot seeds. So I will be, hopefully, if they turn out okay, we'll be sending in a video of those later in the year with Julia carrots.
Fantastic. Purple carrots, Julia.
Yay!
So, we look forward to that. They would be great. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah. Mine last year went terribly wrong. They got attacked by the slugs and snails.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to keep them away. And fortunately, I've got some bits of old cot that the kids used to be in that I'll be able to keep the cats and things like that on. A sort of smaller version of the castle that you built last year, Julia.
Wow. Well, listen, we'll say goodnight to Cara. Good night.
Good night, sweetheart.
I hope you had a lovely day.
Yeah, another day indoors.
Oh, how lovely. How lucky it is. I mean, some of us have got to stay outside and brave the elements, and it's been raining here in Worthing. Hailstones the size of golf balls. Terrible.
I heard that it was snowing in Horsham, hailing in Worthing.
Yes.
And a tornado in Selsey.
Absolutely. Hurricane in Hastings.
Yeah, but here,
yes,
here it was the Sunshine Coast of Eastbourne.
Oh, if only we'd been there, we would have joined you there in the lounge.
Well, I'll tell you something about that. Matt Hancock said you're not allowed.
Not allowed in the lounge?
No, we don't.
He's a spoil sport, isn't he? Never mind. Have a nice night, Cara. Bye.
Sleep tight.
Ah, bless. How about that? There we are. Lovely Steve Pilfold in Pevensey with the lovely Cara, who is going to sleep now, and we hope that she has some lovely dreams. And I'm sure they will be absolutely fantastic. So how about that? Julia, I noticed you were looking at the comments during all of that. Anything exciting going on?
Michael Angel is asking, what's Julia drinking? Beer? Ick, no.
Oh, I've not noticed you drinking. What are you drinking? Because normally when you come into the studio, you bring something and you share it with me. Tonight, of course,
Tonight, I'm just drinking what I usually drink at home, which is lemon tea, believe it or not.
Oh, lemon tea, brown lemon tea. It does look like you've got that out of the smallest room.
What it looks like.
But it tastes very different.
You'd be surprised how many people say, because in the past I've taken kind of a clear Tupperware cup thing,
yes,
and on the go and drunk it on the go, and people are like, "Are you drinking your sample?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm drinking my sample."
I've just seen
really?
nasty. I've just seen Audrey Forbes Hamilton saying Boris is in hospital. Is that true, or is that just a hoax? Mark Donny McLeod says green screen Glasters. Oh yeah, the green screen worked very well, by the way, Julia. That did look good.
Once I ironed out the sleeve hole.
You are. Oh, that's nice. So Brave the Elephant says history's taught us. I'm not quite sure what that is. And we've got great weather in Italy. Yeah, I think Steve was actually joking about all the bad weather. I think pretty much in the UK we've all had fairly pleasant weather. Get well soon, Boris. Is that true? Is Boris in hospital? I just want to get that confirmed. I didn't hear that on the news. I would have thought that would have been on the news if so. Whilst that's going, let's play in another video because we've only done one and it's already 9:18. Oh, hang on. I think we might not be doing the videos tonight. There's another call coming in. Hello to the caller. Hello.
Good evening, Richard. How are you?
Who's that?
It's Dino from Upfield.
Hey, Dean.
Hello, Dean.
Hello, Julia. How are you?
How are you, Julia?
I'm choking at the moment on myself. Yes, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. I'm very well. You look very well, Julia. With the
you very much.
makeup, and you look very fresh.
I put a
and ready
lot
for
of
the
makeup
show.
on today.
You're enjoying the show, did you say?
No, I said Julia looks fresh and ready for the show, Richard.
Oh, yes, whereas I look tired and knackered, I suppose.
No, you look tanned.
Just as people are reporting this, I don't mean to interrupt the joviality, but this is quite interesting. BBC News has just confirmed that Boris is admitted to hospital. Mystic Hair says it's true, Richard. Sky are reporting it. David Chamberlain says was a BBC News flash. Admitted for tests.
That's correct. Yeah, we've heard the same here. So yes, that is correct.
So that's interesting. But was there? It's not that he's going on a ventilator or anything like that. I think people are probably getting a bit, golly. I mean, can you imagine? Can you just imagine the situation? I mean, if something happened to
Prime Minister dies from COVID-19, yeah, it'd be quite interesting.
It would be Matt Hancock, I think, would be stepping in because he seems to be very much prime ministerial material, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. I mean, I've been watching it on and off, but obviously not from the politician side of things. But obviously, it's affecting a lot of people. But I'm just waiting for our turn, I guess.
Oh, don't say it like that.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know, do you?
Well, no, that's very true. You don't know.
No.
That would be. I'm sure Boris is all right. I think that he's obviously got the symptoms and he's probably gone in for tests. Although it's strange that he's gone to the hospital. You would have thought somebody would have come to him. But
well, yeah, I'm sure. Well, they probably had a escort with the ambulance and all that kind of thing. Not the sort of thing that we would have if we were to say, oh, we need to go. They would say, well, no, stay at home for the moment.
Yes.
But with Boris, obviously, they would say, get him in there quick. You know?
The thing is, the way I look at this is that if oops, what have I done? I press this power to power. Oh, is this my laptop?
No, you're good. You're still good.
Something has just come on my screen. I don't know where that's come from.
I don't know, from what I can see on my screen, although it's turned down, I can still see you, Julia, and the normal picture, so it's good.
Something has just come on my computer. It says 4 minutes to power off. Oh, maybe it's the... Hang on a minute.
Oh, is it the Zoom?
Is it Julia's picture? Yeah, could be.
Is it your pic? No, it's on my screen. Nobody else can see it. It's just that something's going to power off, and it might be... it's my monitor.
Oh,
sorry about that. It's
what
slight...
isn't plugged in?
My monitor had been on all afternoon, and I think I thought I'd all gone to sleep.
Oh.
What I was going to say, just quickly, I just get this out of my head. I think, if Boris goes to the hospital, Boris has got the virus, and he's been, disappeared. He goes to hospital, gets tested, and then he comes back invigorated and better and all the rest of it. I think that's a great bit of PR for the country if he comes back and says, look, I've had it. It was pretty bad, but I've come back. We're all in this together. I'm prepared to roll up my sleeves and get it. And, like everybody else, we're not immune. I think that it will endear him well.
Well, yeah, it would be a bit of a miracle if he did. But there we go, because, it doesn't choose people. It takes down people as and when it wants to. Nobody's got 100% resilience against this kind of thing. So
yes,
we shall see what happens with Boris when he comes back from the A&E or whatever. If he's been admitted to hospital, whether they're going to put him on a bed, with his chest down like they do with all the victims so far.
The thing is, you see, I'm a bit of a cynic. And I think that they're very annoyed. The government seem to be very annoyed that people have gone out into the sunshine, even though they've stayed in their family groups. They may have had picnics and barbecues, but they're not mixing with everybody. They're not going cavorting around and kissing one another. They're staying in their 2-metre distances and possibly a lot more than that. And so there's no real evidence that actually any of those are really passing on the stuff. Maybe if, people get too close together, obviously. But if Boris, the cynic in me says, right, okay, if we send the Prime Minister to hospital, he's a high-profile person. If they see even the Prime Minister can get it and has to go to hospital, perhaps the world will, the English people, or the UK rather, will think twice. Blimey, it is serious because even Boris has had to go. I don't know. I'm just cynical like that. It may be coincidental, but I always try and look for the other side of the coin. What's the publicity of that all about? But I may be wrong.
Well, as you say, obviously Boris has got it now, but Prince Charles had it, and he went into isolation for a while. He's still speaking normally. He still looks well. He doesn't have any problems. Like you say, it could be a publicity stunt. Who knows? But Boris has always said, stay at home, save lives, protect the NHS by staying at home. And obviously, we've got this 2 metre clearance, obviously, from one person to the next. But it doesn't matter whether you do this. I mean, looking at it from the outset, it doesn't matter whether you got 2 metres from you to the guy in front of you or the girl in front of you. Everything you touch, everything you have contact with, you may do that. Obviously, to go into Tesco's or wherever, when you go in the store, you go and pick your product up. Who else has touched that product? Were they wearing gloves? You don't know.
I think you're absolutely right there, and I think that supermarkets are going to be generally the place where you're going to get it, because that is. If everyone stays at home, they do individual exercise, they practice social distance and all of those things. The only real place that you need to go and get where there's a lot of people is when you buy food. And that, as you say, food has come onto the shelves. Somebody's put it on the shelves. Other people have touched it and put things back. And there's everything that you touch is all of that. But the staff there, I mean, I've been looking at the staff in my supermarket that I go, and it's the same staff. None of them seem to be disappearing. And you'd think, well, if that was a place where it is the most likely place where this virus is going to be rife, why are the staff not going down in droves?
If I may interject,
yes,
it is because they do have, they are behind the counter. Like in Morrison's today, I managed to go out shopping for the first time in like 2 weeks, and they had big plastic separators. So when you are directly in front of them, you're separated still.
But you've got them still filling the shelves, the shelf fillers and stuff. They're not protected.
That's true.
They're not protected. And the security guy at the door is, it's the same.
It just says to me that no one's carried COVID in there, because in the hospitals, COVID is definitely in the hospitals.
Well, of course, yes.
Staff who are getting a high dosage of this stuff are falling now.
Yes.
Tragically.
Now, there was an interesting comment, breaking away from all of that for the moment. Please. Dave Davis, where are you? Question for Julia and Richard. Julia, I've heard the aliens took over. Do you believe it? Richard, saw your video, Black Boys, East Sussex. Vivian Lee's house is close. Did you know anything about it? I don't know anything about Vivian Lee's.
The aliens? Which aliens?
The aliens. Is it just the aliens have taken over? That's why we're in this situation.
What a load of rubbish.
What do you think, Dean?
It sounds like a bit from a movie to me.
Yeah, it does sound a bit far-fetched.
Too much sci-fi.
There is so many conspiracy theories going around. I'm naturally sceptical about things that everybody says is the thing, and I do like to listen to other people's opinion, even the conspiracy theories, if only to just tick them off the list and say, okay, that's a load of rubbish, and test the argument. I think it's always good to listen to the other view, even if you vehemently disagree with it. It's good just to listen to it. Rather than just stick with your own opinion. But it just may be that there's nothing wrong with obviously sticking to your own opinion if you disagree with somebody else. So that's all good.
Could we perhaps move on though?
Yes, of course. Dean, are you're still delivering? Are you?
I am indeed, yeah, and of course I have to exercise a lot of the COVID rules that we are not allowed to go into anybody's property, blocks of flats, houses. We've got to stay away 2 meters from the customer, and also we have to sign for them. So it's one of those things. For my protective personality, obviously, this is what we have to do. And our devices that we use every day are wiped down every day by our depot with obviously an antibacterial agent. Even though we are the only person holding it, this is what we have to do to actually combat any kind of transmission of this horrible thing, you know.
Yes.
Nobody wants it. I certainly don't want it. So, and so far, so good. You know, everything's going to plan, and although the work is drying out, so it could end up that I could end up staying at home for a long period of time. But it's not looking great because all the deliveries are dropping off. Customers are not sending their stuff out. Lots of other companies that we get our supplies or deliveries or collections and transfers from, they're closing down because their staff are going into self-isolation, that kind of thing. It is getting thinner on the ground, not just us, but Royal Mail, everybody out there.
Yes.
So it's getting weaker and weaker. So
yes. But I mean, part of the world has got to turn. Otherwise, people self-isolating at home will starve to death, or, you know, life will start to deteriorate and people will actually come out of the streets. If you can't get your Amazon, you know, if you're ordering online for anything and you can't get it, you're going to start venturing out. There will be a point where all of this will turn. But
it will, yes, that's right.
We're not there. Anyway, Dean, we better keep this light as much as we can. It's fascinating stuff. Audrey says Boris is having blood tests and a chest X-ray, and that's why he's there. So thanks for that. Thank you, Dean.
Anyway, yes, all right, we'll call it quits there, and I'll call you again another time when we've got a little bit more time.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much.
All right, no worries, and keep the show going.
Yes, we will do our best.
And give us a wave, and it's good to see you both there.
Fantastic.
Nice to hear from
Thank you, Dean.
Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
All right, no worries. All right, take care.
So Dean Cooper there in where's he from? Dean is in Uckfield.
Yeah.
Uckfield Way. Yeah, sorry, just went out of my head.
I know. As soon as you said it, my brain went bang.
Claire Leach says I'm getting through loads of gloves, which presumably are the plastic gloves. I mean, people need all these supplies, and I wonder where the things that in the supermarkets and the stuff that we all take for granted. Somebody somewhere still going to work to make those things. We can't all stay at home. This is the thing that I find peculiar. They still need people to make bread, and they still need people to put baked beans in tins, and people have to do that.
I mean, like I said, I went to the shop today, and I had an absolutely cracking conversation with the cashier. And I said to her, thank you so much for the lovely conversation. It's been really nice to have some human interaction that's not my family.
Yes.
And and I said how grateful I was. You're doing a great job. We should be clapping for you guys as much as the NHS, because we need people doing these things. Otherwise,
we have another phone call coming in.
Oh.
It's all phones tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, who's calling?
It's Chris Venables here, Richard.
Oh, hello, Chris. We want to find out how well or not you're doing, as you rang us yesterday with the coronavirus.
I have the virus, yes. I've still got it.
You still got it? Oh, you haven't shaken it off?
No, I'm not shaking it off. I'm still debilitated with it, I'm afraid.
And any worse or the same as yesterday?
Well, I stopped on the settee last night and had a night sleeping upright. But today I feel about the same, although my lungs feel a little bit more filled up. But I'm still breathing okay.
Oh, that's good. Thank God for that.
I know.
So,
it's not,
how do you? Yesterday, you weren't quite. I mean, we had a good laugh and what have you. And the nature of this show is it's amazing how we can be having a lark about, and then it can sort of turn a bit darker and what have you. As the mood of people is and how it flows. But do you feel different about it today than you did yesterday? Are you more fearful or are you more optimistic?
I don't feel any more fearful about it.
Right.
Although it has got slightly worse today, in as much as I feel a lot tireder today.
Yes.
And looking at what's happened with Boris, I mean, I saw him on telly the other day, and he looked dreadful.
Right.
So I think he's had to go into hospital. You know, he's trying to put a brave face on it, but he didn't look very well to me.
No.
From what I saw, and I think he's going for a checkup. I'm okay. I'm breathing okay. I'm still coughing, but I'm still, you know, in terms of breathing and whatever, yeah, I'm okay.
So
it is a bugger. It is
yes.
a bugger. There's no two ways about it.
No, absolutely, it's a bugger. I should think it's more than a bugger. But here's a question I wanted to ask you yesterday, and I didn't get. It didn't occur to me, but it's occurred to me now. Are you aware of where you might have got it from?
Now that's an interesting one because I'm not. I'm a key worker. Well, classed as a key worker.
Right.
But although I'm working from home, I'm still out and about with people in the street and on the street. And I work for the local authority.
Yes.
And so I meet tenants. So I must have picked it up somewhere along the lines. But I've taken a lot of precautions, you know, in terms of keeping the 2 meters. And my wife, she wears gloves and masks and everything. So we've done as much as we can do, but I've still caught it.
Yes.
So I'm of the opinion that it's just like a normal flu, and it's in the air anyway. It's airborne and floating about, and you know when you get a normal flu epidemic, it goes through like a dose of salt, doesn't it?
Yes.
I've got the feeling this is the same. I mean, the figures that the government are giving, I can't believe that they're accurate. You know, in terms of there's only been so many thousand that's caught it and this type of thing. I think there's a lot of people who've caught it because when I went to 111, for instance, I didn't talk to anybody, a human being. They wanted to know where I was so they can pinpoint it on a map, if you like.
Yes.
But I think a lot of people have done that and not even bothered doing that. They've just stopped in the house with it and braved it out.
Yes.
To be honest.
Yes.
I think it's a lot more prevalent than what we think it is.
And of course, there's the whole business that some people have it and it's such a minor thing. They don't even think that that's what it is. And they don't, it's been and gone and they're kind of unaware of it. And then there's other people who are blatantly aware of it and people who, like Boris, have had to go to hospital and far worse.
Yeah, well, I mean, with Boris, initially they said he just had a mild dose.
Yes.
But, when he actually came back on the television, he was clapping, for the NHS workers and all. He didn't look very good then, I didn't think.
No.
And I saw him on television after that, and he did look pained. So I don't think he's had a mild dose of it. I think I've had a mild dose of it because I lost my taste and smell.
Yes, I remember you saying.
That's partly come back today.
Oh, has it?
It's drifting in and out now, yeah. But I just feel a lot more tired today. I'm more debilitated. I'm all right in myself. You know what I mean? But
what about have you lost your appetite?
No, that's not affected me in that way.
Right.
It's funny. You know when you go on and have a look at the symptoms, there's so many different symptoms.
Yes.
For it. It reads like normal flu to me, or bad cold or flu, something like that.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, but. I don't even know. I don't even know. Where do you think it's come from, Richard? Have you got any ideas on that? Have you got any thoughts on it?
May I interject?
Of course.
Yes.
It's incredibly lovely to hear from you, Chris. Really, 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 really lovely to hear from you. And I'm glad you're feeling a bit better. I think you said that earlier. But I'm really sorry. I'm getting really distressed. Can we please move on to something nicer?
In a second, Julia. I mean, I appreciate that it's distressing, but these are the conversations that I think we have to have because it's the elephant in the room if you don't talk about it. And from my point of view, I feel very privileged to have Chris ring in because he's actually got it. So if there's the voice of authority, it is somebody who's actually got it and can put other people's minds at rest to a degree.
Yeah, I don't want to upset anybody about it, Richard. I mean, it's just all I can say. It's just like a dose of flu, really. I don't want certainly don't want to upset Julie and get her all upset unnecessarily.
Yes, no, I don't want to upset anybody, but it's vital that people can get a handle of because I just think we think of it as this the Black Plague, the way it's been presented, and you're living proof that you're going through a rough time, but hopefully it won't get any rougher.
No, I don't think it will, to be honest. I mean, it is rough, but it's only rough in the way that flu is rough.
Yes, yes.
And I don't want to, I don't want to present it as being the end of the world or anything like that, because it's nothing like that.
No,
nothing like that at all. Not to me.
Great. Well, it's what is lovely, and what I take away from this is your positive attitude.
Yeah, I mean that's the way I think most people will take it. To be honest.
Yes.
Richard, I don't think let's carry on.
Oh yeah, good.
That's what we do best.
Well, listen, we'll do ring again and let us know. I mean, if you start to feel better, do let us know definitely, and likewise if you feel different. It would be interesting to just trace how it goes with one regular viewer on the show, because people, when you rang yesterday, there was a lot of love out there and thoughts for you, because people are genuinely nervous. So it would be great just to follow your progress, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem at all. I mean, I'll give it a couple of days and we'll be laughing and joking, and that'll be the end of it, hopefully.
Fantastic. Well done, Chris.
Anyway, catch you later then, Richard.
Yeah, take care. Look after yourself.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
There we are. Sorry, Julia. I just wanted to get to that end of that conversation, really. But we will go and find our happy place, as Linda Kane said. Are you okay?
I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Julia. It's I mean, it's a very.
We're all going through it. My father-in-law's dying of it right now.
Yes.
And I was trying to be happy and struggling now.
And you've not had any news?
He survived the night, and he's so far survived today.
Well, that's very good. Let's put a video on and just change the mood. We're going to end the show fairly soon anyway, but let's put a video on just to chill ourselves out. So let's go over into the video box, and who have we got? I tell you what we'll look at. We tried to play this yesterday and it wasn't available. I put the file somewhere. Barry Stevens goes, I can't remember the name of the place that you went to. Was it Greywell? But Barry introduces this. Have a watch of this with his son Faden.
Hello Richard, Barry Stevens here, doing another video. We're on a little walk to go and look at Greywell Church, and also an old mill house that is still lived in. I'm out here with my son Faden.
Hello.
And I'll get back to you when we get there. Back again. We found a little bridge on our walk.
Yeah, we
thought I'd show you the this is the River Whitewater that you'll see later on in the video.
I never
private fishing only.
I never realised that there was a bridge here.
Yeah, you have been on it when you were very young. Anyway, we'll get back to you soon. Bye bye. Just like to show you this old building in the village of Greywell. Right in front of it, you might be able to see where the land is humped. That's an old house that was burnt down by Oliver Cromwell. I know the gentleman that owns this house, a very kind man. He let me detect on this land a while back. Just a little bit of information there for you. Hello again. We're at Greywell Church now. It's called St Mary's Church. It's a Norman church. I think the oldest part of the existing building is from the 13th century. You've got another, what I think is a yew tree there again. This is
I think that's one as well.
Yeah, that's a yew tree as well. Quite a long one.
They really like yew trees in this like.
They do.
Backyard.
Apparently the oldest part of this church is a part of the tower, which goes back to the 13th century. Anyway, I'll take you around to the other side. See you in a moment.
Okay, this might be the oldest part of the church. We might have found it because like of this window.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think this is the oldest part of the church. We could be wrong.
Yeah.
try and see if we can see in the church there.
This looks like the same kind of like flint as the Odium Castle was.
It does, and we'll see you in a minute. And just a little bit more information. The tower has 3 bells, all of which are hundreds of years old. They're known for how old they are. Obviously got what was once some kind of hatch or door. It sits right next to the River Whitewater that we just walked over, and at the end of this video you'll see the mill house. That will be the end of the walk. See you in a minute. I'd just like to give you a quick shot of this cemetery that runs along the River Whitewater, and this beautiful old tree.
There's also gnomes in this tree.
Well, there's gnomes, is there?
Yeah.
Well, apparently gnomes. Oh, so there we are. There are gnomes in the tree.
And there's also a bonfire going on at the moment just there.
There is. See you in a minute. And this is walking along the River Whitewater, going towards the mill house. They're doing some conservation work here. They're knocking down a lot of trees to preserve the wetlands for nesting birds and other wildlife. See you in a mo. Hello again, we're at the mill house, and unfortunately the people I said who are doing conservation are very noisy at the moment, so you might not be able to hear me very well. I know this mill has I think it's called it's a corn mill, and it has a breast shop mill, which I'm going to show you now. I don't know the date of this mill. I think it's around the mid 1600s it was built. See that?
It's very noisy.
It is very noisy. You can still see the very broken wheel there. Like I say, it was a corn mill.
I can see it better from over here.
Yep, you can see it a little bit better from around here. See the wheel there? Anyway, I better keep this video short. I'm going to say bye-bye for now. Faden says bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
There we go. Isn't that fantastic? Thank you so much, Barry. That's so interesting. And I think, Barry, you've suggested that once all this is over, to come up and explore some of those areas with the old bald explorer geezer, you know, the bald bloke with the glasses. I thought for a moment there, I thought I was talking and nothing was coming out. Yeah, so Julia, I've just fiddled with the knobs here. Can I still just
Well, don't
test?
fiddle with the knobs, dear.
Oh, that's better. There we are. We can hear you again. That's marvellous.
Good.
It's the lash up in the studio here is I'm not 100% au fait, as they say, au fait, with how all the wires go. So I was just a bit concerned that when I play a video, because yesterday I was playing a video and then some feedback was coming back. We got a phone call. Let's see who's on the line. Hello, mystery caller.
Hello, I just wanted to call you to I love videos.
Oh, hang on. I can't quite. I've got to put my head to the headphones. Just bear with me. Hello. Say again.
Hello, I just wanted to say I love. And I was wondering if you would like to do a trip with me.
To do a what with you?
A walk.
Your signal on your phone is very unclear. I'm sorry to say.
Sorry.
Is it? Are you on an internet phone or on a cellnet phone?
Cell.
Oh, are you? Oh, is there a window you can stand next to?
I'm next to one now.
Oh, that's better. That's a bit clearer. Just bear with me, Julia, because I know you can't hear this. I'm just trying to make sure I get the question. So, what's your name?
George Smith.
George Smith?
No, I'm joking.
I was going to say, did you just make that up?
No, I'm joking.
So it's a shame because I know you're prank calling me, but it does help if you have a clean line when you prank call, because otherwise what we can't do is actually hear the prank.
I'm just going to say that I love your videos. I would you to if you could go with him around London.
I'm really, really sorry. As much as I want to hear and have the conversation with you, it's just breaking up terribly. Have you got a landline?
I walk around London.
You walk round London. Okay, I got that bit.
And maybe we can have a walk with Nigel Stadler.
Oh, do a walk with Nigel Sadler.
The fucking
Yeah, thank you. Language, Timothy. There we go. Yeah, I thought we were going to end up with some foul language, and I apologise that for. Luckily, the lovely Julia didn't get to hear those unclean words. By the way, if you ring on a private number, I won't be taking your call, really. So if you can unprivate your phone, because we obviously, as the show gets more popular, we'll get more idiots on the line.
Unfortunately, that's one thing I cannot admin for you.
Yes, no, and I could barely hear what he was saying, and the audience also could barely hear because it was breaking up. Leslie Couch there saying, I think it's a wind-up too, it's children. Yes, I mean, it's Mike Dixon says, what is a landline? Yeah, that does take me back to the oldie days. But yeah, if your phone is a bit crappy, then we can't really do anything. Yeah, what a twat, says Peter May. I think sums it up. People obviously do ring up radio stations, and that's what happens. Our Days Out says, I knew that was coming. Only answer with numbers coming up. Barry Stevens, that's what I said. If it's a private number, I know every now and again you get somebody who does ring up on a private number, and they're very nice people, and some people may not quite understand how to unprivate their phone. Do you know how to unprivate your number? Are you on a private number?
I don't know how to turn it to a private number.
No, I don't know how to do that.
I can't prank.
Oh dear. Anyway, it was thank you for that phone call. We are running at 1 hour and 26 minutes, nearly 1 hour and 27 minutes into the show. It is over here 10 to 10. We'll go for a couple of... Julia's getting cold. Are you getting cold?
Yeah, I think it's where the emotions came out and suddenly dropped my temperature.
Oh, right. Wrap yourself up warm. Who would like to ring? I'm going to save the other two videos that we had planned for tomorrow night, which will be video special. We'll have video special tomorrow to have a break from all of this. But who would like to finish on a nice high note? Somebody who's got something jolly and happy.
Come on, let's have a really chirpy chappy come and phone us.
Yes, a chirpy chappy to call us. No more prank calls, no more serious stuff to finish off the show. I suppose what I should do is not turn my camera off.
Oh, yes, Mark Donny McLeod says it's cowboy time. 10 to 10, 10 to 10, 10 to 10, 10 to 10 to 10, 10 to 10. Anyway.
Very good. Love it. 10 to 10 to 10 to 10 to 10 to 10 to 10. That's the first time I've heard Richard say twat, says Mystical Hair. Yes, it's probably the first time I've actually said it.
With all these comments coming up, I'm like, oh, what did he say?
What did he say? I know. Sometimes I do surprise myself, to be honest with you. You can. What is this? Doctors phone on private numbers where we don't want any doctors on the show. Hello, mystery caller. Who are you? Hello. Hello. Who's that?
It's cowboy time.
Cowboy time. It's Mark Donny McLeod. How are you, Mark?
I'm Fandabidozy, me.
Fandabidozy.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn you up.
Can you hear Mark, Julia?
I can. Hello, Julia. I can hear you quite well, actually.
Hello there, Mark.
Hello there, Julia. How are you doing, lass?
I doing good. How do?
Yeah.
I'm trying, very trying.
Nothing wrong with that, girl. Good to see you. Mr. Richard.
Yes.
And Julia, thank you very much for this evening. It's been good, and I think the thing is that's why we get 100 people watching. There should be another 48. Come on, look, you lot. There's only 52 likes here. Get your fingers on that thumbs up button right now.
There you are. You've been told.
I've just added mine on.
I'll come around and find it.
If you are enjoying the show, we do appreciate the thumbs up. It gives us the impetus to come back and do the show the following night.
That's a royal ass.
Yes, that's a royal ass, because after all, we could be sitting there watching videos of I don't know what. So it's nice to have the incentive to come back, because, doing this every night doesn't make you a fortune by any means of the imagination.
No. Yeah, you're not going to get rich quick doing this one.
Hey,
not.
Dean Cooper. Hello, Dean Cooper. Hello, Roberts. I hope your throat gets better, mate. Sorry to hear that we can't hear you. You take care of yourself, man.
So the thing...
Love the hair. That's fantastic.
The thing in the thing about the phone calls, of course, that the irony is here we can do this. Everybody's bored. They've got nothing to do. So we're making gains on viewers and things, and it's fantastic, and we love it.
Yeah.
But that's because of this shutdown, the lockdown. But the thing is that when you sort of say, well, so what have you been up to today? And the problem is it's the same as I did yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that. I couldn't go out.
See, because today I've been baking bread.
All
day I've been baking bread. What is it? I've a couple of friends who have celiac, and 3 or 4 friends who can't, have gluten free.
Nigel Sadler is a great fan of gluten free bread.
Right, and the thing is, right, these people can't. You're right, Robert. Sound lad, brilliant. The problem is that at the moment, they're having problems because of the flour not getting through. People can't get what they need. So, and the stuff that they've been taking out to people quite nicely, it's good that people are getting these provisions that they need. But obviously, they can't always, say, well, this person has celiac, that person's got a gluten intolerance, that person can't have this or that, and they're just giving them what they think is right. But so what I've done is I've made some bread for quite a few people and rolls and all that sort of thing. And what I've said to them, don't give me money for it, right? Go out and buy stuff or buy stuff online for other people. So don't give it to me. So if you know there's somebody else who needs something, don't pay me any money. I don't want it. What I want you to do is I want you to spend that money and get something for someone else who needs it, or even put it towards one of these charities that helps for homeless people or people who need it. Oh, I'm all right. I've got a nice house. I live in a nice area. I've got what I need.
That's very laudable. That's such a nice thing to do, and what a great gesture. Now I'm going to ask you, Mark. I've got. You say that flour is difficult to get hold of. The lovely Julia and I went to Oldland Windmill a while back, and we were given a couple of heritage flours, bags of flour, I should say. And I'm just holding this up here so that the viewers can see it. And it says on here, this is red Lammas. Or Lammas?
Lammas.
Wholemeal stone ground flour. What kind of thing can I make on my Essie with this flour, wholemeal stone ground flour?
I would, for you, Richard, with that, I think what would go down really well would be, let me see now. I think like a cob loaf.
Oh, a cob
nice
loaf.
Old-fashioned old cob loaf. And what you're doing is you're making a bread which only needs to rise once.
Right. Did bread rise more than once then?
Well, normally, it should be proved twice.
Oh, I see.
But see, if you like baking at home, if you're baking in a big, production place and all that business, it's different. But I can see your flour, yeah. Wow, fantastic that. I get mine from a place similar in Norfolk.
Right. So what?
I buy mine in 25 kilo sacks because I bake quite a lot of stuff.
Yes, I can imagine. This is only like 1/500 or something. I don't know. It doesn't even say.
That'll be a kilo. That.
A kilo of that. So a cob loaf. What do I need? What other ingredients do I need to make a cob?
It's very basic, very easy.
Yeah.
All you need is like 25 mils of vegetable oil. You can use olive oil if you like.
Right.
10 grams of salt.
10 grams of salt.
Normal table salt.
Yep.
Water.
Are you remembering all this?
Yeah. Well, I can play it back.
Well, what I'll do is I will send you a recipe.
Oh, please do.
Because this is what I was going to do. You know, when we were going to go on about me making something for the show.
Yes.
When I thought, with what's going on, rather than me trying to send you something, by the time it gets to you, it's probably be off.
Yes, that's
you
true.
won't be able to eat it. So I thought, if I give you a recipe, and you can follow my recipe, then you can make the bread yourself. See?
Absolutely. That sounds brilliant.
And then, you know, and you can cook it in your recipe. And the good thing about a cob loaf, it's an old-fashioned loaf. You know, the big round ones with a cross on the top.
Yeah.
Like that. And what the good thing about that is you should be able to get like 2, maybe 3 loaves out of that flour.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So what you're going to do is you're going to make a light loaf, and you're going to let it proof all day.
So and when you say when you say prove, what does prove mean?
Basically, you know when you make a dough.
Yes.
And you put it in a bowl.
Yes.
You cover it. Yeah. That's proving.
Oh, okay. In a warm area or?
Yeah. In a place where the sun's nearby, you know where you are. Perfect. If you've got a sunny window, put it in sunny window and let it grow up nice and big. Just leave it there all day, and you can do it in the morning before you go out up to one of your things. And then when you come back later and you've done the show or something, you think, oh, I know what I do. I'll put that bread in the oven. So what you do is you then put your bread in the oven. Don't knead it, because you'll be knocking all that air out. You need that air.
So you mix all the ingredients, whatever the ingredients are. You mix up. You knead it together into a dough.
Into a ball, into a dough.
And then once you've done that, you cover it. Yeah, you cover it. You prove it for several hours in a warm thing, but you don't knead it again.
No.
Right. So you can just literally put it straight in the oven thereafter.
Because when you're shaping it, you're knocking a lot of air out anyway.
Right.
So once it's gone, well, yeah, you would take it out, then you put it back in. Sorry, I got it wrong there. You would take it out, put it back in. Once it's gone back in, and you roll it up, put it in the window. Nice sunny day. Nice lots of hot, thing to make it grow.
Yes.
Once it's grown, take the top off. The cover. Put it in a nice round dish or whatever you got. Make sure it's oiled, of course. Plug it in the hot oven. Hot
yes.
oven.
Yes.
And it wants to be there about, you're in an essay, aren't you?
Yeah.
So I'd say about 40, 45 minutes. Just keep an eye on it after half an hour.
Oh, right. Okay. If you can just give me the basic instructions on an email, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
I'll make a video.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
I'll make a video and then I can play it into the show.
Yeah.
And then bring out the loaf, and we can all have a nibble.
Yeah. That's the one. Everyone likes a good nibble.
Don't they just? Now, see that Julia's brought in a special guest to end the show with.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Hello, Joseph.
Hello, Mark. Yeah, it is Mark.
Hello, Joseph.
My brain's gone. Say hello. Hello.
Hello, Joseph.
Say hello, Mum. Who's that? You look at that. There's the camera.
Hello, Joseph. Hello. People can't see, but I've got a webcam here that has a feed to Julia, so she can.
I always get smiles of babies.
Yes, well, you've got a comical face.
Just laughing and saying, "Look, he looks worse than me." Right, I'm going to leave you too.
Yes, thank you, Mark, for that. That's a great idea, and we'll do that. We will do that.
Joseph.
Take care. Talk to you soon.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Fantastic. There we are. That's Mark Donny McLeod up there in Lancashire, by the Pendle Hills, making his bread, and he's given us a suggestion to do with our heritage flour, which is superb. We'll get on with that. Lovely to see lovely Julia there with young Joseph. Hello, Joseph.
Say hello. Hello, Richard.
Hello, Joseph.
Mind if I read a couple of comments?
Yes, please do.
Joe Courage says, I tried making bread. Didn't go well because I forgot the yeast.
Ah, yes.
That made I laugh. And Ron Langley says, Richard, you should have a switchboard so Julia can vet the calls before they come to you.
Oh, yeah, that would be good. We've got one more call just now.
Oh.
Hello to you, caller.
Hello, Richard.
Hello, who's that?
It's Paul from Our Days Out.
Hello, Paul from Our Days Out. How are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm well. I'm getting tired now as it's getting on. Well, it's 10 o'clock. This is the latest we've done
It's
our
the
show.
Vobes bedtime.
Well, actually, you know, I've spoken to you on numerous occasions, Richard, but I've never spoken to Julia. So I just thought I'd say hello to Julia.
It's nice to hear your voice, if I think you are who I think you are.
Yes, Paul Watts from Our Days Out, aka
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, I lost my thread there. I have no idea what time of day it is, or I've completely lost track of everything. Let me just turn this down a little bit more. I'm getting confused.
Is that and is that because you know? I kept thinking, is it the weekend? What day is it? Because we're doing the same thing day after day after day, and the structure has gone.
Totally. I have no idea. To be honest with you, when we spoke last week, we can do nothing in the salons, obviously, because we've furloughed all of us as directors and all of our staff. But the thing for me is that I am so busy because I've gone through the last 45 years with Suzanne, and she says this needs doing and that doing, and I've always said I'll do it when I get the time.
Oh, and now's the time.
Yes, so I've had a day today where I've been kind of 8 o'clock till 8 o'clock this evening, just clearing out sheds, repairing this and repairing that, and but anyway, you know, it's what can you do?
Well, you've got to fill the time, haven't you? Otherwise, that's when it gets really to you, and one can go completely bonkers.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at Julia bouncing the little boy.
Oh, he's doing all the bouncing.
It's 5 minutes, it seems, since my little boy Paul was bouncing on my lead like that. One other thing, just to end, I know you want to end your show, Richard. I just wanted to say I was watching the other day on one of your videos, and one of the strangest and funniest things was you riding through Worthing with no crash hat, with a GoPro in hand, tearing down around the corners and round the roads. And I was in hysterics just watching that.
Do you know the amount of people who have told me, A, to fix the camera on the bike, and B, to get a helmet? You just think like, oh my God, you know. And somebody did say, well, he is a grown-up. He can make up his own mind.
Well, I was anti-helmet for a long time, but I must admit I do wear one. But I just thought to myself, you know, if a police car came up that road, there's this guy tearing down the street.
The other
safety.
Well, it's true, and you're absolutely right. And one wouldn't do that in normal days, but when there's no cars on the roads, they're empty streets.
Yeah. But it did look funny. I mean,
oh, good.
And every so often, with the sun behind you, there would be this shadow on the road.
Yes, that's right. And you could see me holding. I know.
Of you with this.
You see, the thing is, I looked at that as in a very a positive way, that people could see how I was doing the videos and could see how I was cutting from one camera because the camera was out to the side. And I thought people would enjoy it. But it's funny because people, I don't know quite why people suddenly then get on their high horse and want to stop somebody else's hijinks. And it's not as if I'm a complete... I mean, I know I come across as an idiot, but in order to edit these things together and do them on a daily basis, there's got to be some sort of sense of intelligence there to put these things together. And I certainly wouldn't be doing that if we were on an ordinary situation where the roads were busy.
No, the only problem with that is that you don't have a lot of hair on top of your head.
That's true.
And the same with me. And today I was in the small shed in the garden, sorting it out, and I'd got a little sack barrow thing that was hanging on the side of the shed, and it dropped and hit me on top of the head. And because there's no hair,
Yes.
it just splits it, and you have a bit of a nasty. So I would at least recommend a helmet. In fact, I think it would be quite fun.
Well, I mean,
I think you need to get one.
People have said that, but of course I haven't got one. So you can't nip out to the shops and buy them because the shops are shut. And if you go to Amazon, it's going to take several weeks to get there because it's not a priority. So, you know, when people say, "Oh, you should be wearing a helmet," it's all very well, but wait until one comes.
Exactly. Try a turban, Richard.
Yeah, turban. There we go. We got the lovely on the screen at the moment. We've got Julia's two boys now. We've got Elijah on the right of the screen as I look at it. We've got the lovely Julia.
Hello, Elijah.
And little Joe there, and they're all.
I promised
Joe.
Elijah to come and say hello and good night.
Hello, Julia. Yeah, okay.
Say hello.
All right,
good
Richard.
night,
I guess you're desperate to wind up your show. Thanks again, and thanks to Julia. And it's great to see the both of you there together again.
Yes, well, hopefully we'll do this again, and we'll keep the show nice and light, and hopefully there's better news on the horizon. But thank you so much, Paul, for ringing in. It's always delightful to hear your wonderful dulcet tones.
Yes, thank you. It was nice to hear them for the first time.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, and we will speak again. Thanks very much.
Yeah, take care, Paul. All the best.
Keep safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And there, how about that? So no more calls, please, because we are going to end the show. I'll save the videos that we have got. Thanks to Paul for ringing. Oh, look at that. People are ringing. No more shows, please. Shows. No more shows.
No more calls, please, to the show. Thank you very much.
Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to get to. It has been fun. It has, the show is up and down. It's all over the place. We don't hold back too much. And it's lovely to see Julia and her family on the other end of the town. Yeah, where you are. And there they are. Look at them. They're all like that. Fortunately, I suppose, Elijah doesn't have to go to bed quite as early as he would normally do because he doesn't have to get up for school.
He is off to bed now, though.
Just before you go, how is this? Because you've got kids. My kids are grown up now, but are you coping with homeschooling?
To be honest, no.
Well, maybe that's something that we could discuss in another show and see how other people are doing it. And are they surviving? Or have they just said, look, it's too difficult. What do you do? I mean, I have no idea.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, the homeschooling that they've got is not compulsory. They've stated repeatedly it's not compulsory. It's just for something for them to do whilst they're stuck at home.
What does Elijah think of it?
What do you think of the homeschooling?
Okay.
It's okay, is it?
Mm-hmm. You've been getting on with Purple Mash?
Yes.
Purple Mash is the site they use.
Good. Well, I'm pleased to hear that. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to end the show. Thank you, Julia, for participating. It's been so marvellous to have you back on the show. It's a shame you're not actually here, but this is the next best thing. Will you do this again?
Yes, thank you very much for having me on the show. It's been an absolute delight. Please don't speak to my chair.
And thanks for showing off the family. It's nice to see extra faces.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to show them off. This one's hard to show off these days.
Yes, I'm sure he's quite happy being on the computer more times than he would normally be.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes, and I'm sure
it's a good tool. If you do this, that, and the other, you can have some computer time.
Yes, absolutely. There we are. Learn some tips from the lovely Julia. Thank you so much, everybody, for the phone calls and for the videos. I'm sorry we didn't get to them all, but as we're all in lockdown for several days or weeks ahead, we will get to them. Tomorrow we'll try and play more videos in. Lots of great talk going on. Thank you for coming back day after day, night after night, and joining us. It's been absolutely wild. There is another video already ready for you tomorrow morning from me. God knows what we're going to do if they lock us down any further, but we'll get on with that when we approach it. I got some cooking, some bread making to do. I have. So, Julia, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you endlessly for keeping our spirits up and keeping us going and bringing us the outdoors that a lot of us aren't getting to do. I mean, where I can, the only place I can go really is the beach, and
Yes.
that gets full. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate having your videos to live vicariously with.
Well, you're very, very kind of you to say so. And look after yourself, and I'll be in touch very soon. And I'll be back again tomorrow morning to do the reading of English Journey by J.B. Priestley. And I'll try and get 2 videos done. If I don't get 2 videos done because of the situation, then please don't be upset. But we'll be doing these lives because they seem to work quite well. Anyway, take care. Thank you very much from all of us. Good night. Good night.
Thank you everyone for the lovely messages. Take care. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.